All right, kiddos, DMR yesterday was a word problem. The first step says just read it and click type done when you finish. Carefully read, then type done on the line below, okay? The Go Green Company held a week-long recycling contest at school. The grade that collects the most bottles and cans wins the contest. Your task is to determine which grade won the Go Green contest. The items that can be recycled are shown: plastic bottles, aluminum cans, and glass bottles. The students from the 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade classes collected bottles and cans and brought them to school. 1 second, let me close this really quick. There we go. And brought them to school. The table 1 shows how many bottles and cans each grade collected on each day of the week. And then you had a table to read right there. Okay. Done. Some of you guys put done in a space and then it said that you were wrong, and that's okay. Again, remember guys, I told you, I don't just look at what the computer says, I go through your answers, so you're fine, okay? All right, here it says, use table 1 to help you answer this question. On which days did the 3rd grade class collect more cans and bottles than the other 2 classes? Select all that apply. If you go back to table 1, we can see, I forgot what the question was. Where did it go? Oh, it's going to make me do the dumb thing. Okay, we'll use Miss Bram's. Miss Bram is displaying the chart. That will make it easier for us. All right. On which days did they collect more bottles and cans than the other 2 grades? Okay, so we see on Wednesday or on Monday, they collected 50, but 4th and 5th grade collected more. On Tuesday, they collected 60, but 4th and 5th grade collected more. On Wednesday, they collected 90, 4th grade collected more. On Thursday, though, they collected 120. And on Friday, they collected 90, and the other 2 grades collected less. So Thursday and Friday. Remember, this also says 2 points. So when it says all, you can use that to help you. Yes, Levin?
What I do to help me yesterday.
You wrote the, yep, there you go. Having that notebook ready. I told y'all you would need it. Yes, Leah, connected to DMR.
So when I looked at that question, it said there was only 1 point, and I pressed Thursday, and it said I was wrong.
Then you misread, sissy. Google doesn't change. It's pretty consistent, okay? Just carefully check over before you turn it in. All right. Next up, it says use table 1 to help you answer the question. On Tuesday, how many more bottles and cans did the 4th grade class collect than the 3rd grade class? So on Tuesday, the 4th grade class collected 90 cans. On Tuesday, the 3rd grade class collected 60 cans. So that means there were 30 more bottles and cans. Again, some of you are freaking out because you typed 30 more and you misspelled bottles. It's okay. I look at your responses to give you your points. No worries. 3, you are the contest judge. You need to figure out who won the contest. Did 3rd grade, 4th grade, or 5th grade win the Go Green contest? Okay. When we added up all of these totals, you would have found that 3rd grade collected 410, 4th grade collected 390, 5th grade collected 400. That means 3rd grade collected the most and they would have won the contest. Explain how you know who won the contest. Again, a lot of my friends were like, I explained it and it said I was wrong. And I've told you guys this a few times. Google is very, very weird and it accepts exact responses. I've told Miss Thaxton that I don't want any more of these kind because if there's misspellings, it's wrong and that's confusing. So they should be going away. But how you know who won the contest is I added the totals for each of the 5 days for each grade, and 3rd grade had the most. Something like that. Okay. All right, y'all. Your I Learn test that is coming up next week, the math will look very similar to this. There is a lot of reading on the math, and I know that that's goofy, but that's the way that it works. So that's what we're getting you ready for, okay? You will see a lot of reading on the math that you need for next week. All right, friends, let's switch gears. We are going to need your math notebooks today. Remember, I told you you will need those for the remainder of the year to be referenced or to be written in. So please snatch that notebook real quick. Get it ready. We're going to add a new page of notes today. Okay, so go ahead and turn to a new page and have that ready. Okay, so I'm setting it down. Got my pen ready to write. I want you to have that ready for when we add our notes. Okay. We are going to be adding notes today about what we introduced yesterday, quadrilaterals, okay? So quadrilaterals, we know, are shapes with 4 line segments and 4 angles or corners or points. Quadrilaterals. I want to rush a short vocabulary to review. As you are listening to the vocabulary, I want you to think about the vocabulary that you already know. What vocabulary do you hear that you know? Here we go.
My mom told me to get in shape, so I climbed up into a triangle. My dad said he's out of shape. He looks a little bit like a rhombus. Yeah, shapes into place. Got some shapes in your face. We got the shapes in the place.
Let's say one line is riding along, going straight as lines like to do.
Yeah.
He meets up with his friend Hansel, and where they meet, they form an angle. Angles are measured in degrees. Spin all the way around, that's 360. If you take a right turn, that's 90. So a right angle has 90 degrees. A right angle, that's what you get in a square. You might even find it in a triangle. If it's less than 90 degrees, it's acute. If it's more than 90 degrees, it's obtuse. If it's less than 90, it's acute. I said if it's more than 90, it's obtuse. If it's 90, then it's right. You know it's nice, and yeah, it's right.
Oh, we've got some shapes coming all up into place. You know, yeah, I know. So get ready for the next episode. Oh, we've got some shapes coming all up into place. You know, yeah, I know. So get ready for the next episode.
A square is a 4-sided shape with 4 right angles and 4 equal sides. So you can spin it like a top, and when it stops, it's gonna look the same. A rectangle is a 4-sided shape with 4 right angles. So a square is a kind of rectangle, but not all rectangles are square. Is that clear? A parallelogram is a 4-sided shape with 2 pairs of parallel sides. So a square, yes. A rectangle, yes. A rhombus, yes. Those are all parallelograms. A rhombus is a 4-sided shape where every side is the same length. So a square is a kind of rhombus. So is a diamond. I'll keep rhyming. A trapezoid is a 4-sided shape with 1 pair of parallel sides. So it looks kind of funny just sitting there. A trapezoid is definitely not a square.
Oh, we've got some shapes coming all up into place. You know, yeah, I know. So get ready for the next episode. Oh, we've got some shapes coming all up into place. You know, yeah, I know. So get ready for the next episode.
All right. What is some vocabulary that you heard that you already knew? Oh, the clapping. I like it. That's a good one. That's funny. What's some vocabulary that you already knew, kiddos? What'd you know? Aiden G, what's a word that you knew?
I knew that the shape of a triangle is 90 degrees, and I've been knowing that.
Some triangles, right triangles can have 90 degrees. Good. We call that a right angle. 2 line segments that meet at a right angle. Yes, Leah, what did you know?
That squares and rectangles have 4 dots.
4 points. Yes, for those corners, those edges. Yes. Squares and rectangles each have 4. Other things that we knew. Aiden G, something else you knew?
That a rectangle and in other shapes, but except a trapezoid is a square.
Yes, so certain shapes can fit into multiple families, okay? I'm actually glad that you brought that up because there's an illustration that I want you guys to understand. So you guys know, I told you yesterday that squares can't be rectangles, but rectangles can't be squares. And you guys were like, huh? What? Huh? Okay. It's the same thing if you think about it as a family, okay? Certain shapes can belong to families. So like it said, parallelograms, a square, a rectangle, and a rhombus are all parallelograms. Miss Sousa, how? Well, here's how. All three of these people are Sousas, okay? This is a Jeremiah Sousa. This is an Axel Sousa. This is a Stephanie Sousa. All of us are Sousas, but we are all each different. Do you see that? Okay, so it's just like a family. So if you have a family name that you share with someone, you're all that family name. Okay, Axel is a Sousa. I am a Sousa, but we are very different, but we are both together in that same family. Shapes operate the same way, especially quadrilaterals. Okay, so we're going to talk about the families of quadrilaterals today. All right, so looking at these families and what groups can we place them into together, okay? Your activity has unlocked to you and it's going to launch us for our notes. It is called Examples of Quadrilaterals. Click on that light bulb to refresh your feed and load that up. Examples of Quadrilaterals. Go ahead and add a response. As you are adding your response, I'm going to play our success criteria so that you can hear today's focus.
Today in math, we will continue our study of geometry. We will begin learning about different examples of quadrilaterals. Our first target today is to recognize rhombuses, rectangles, and squares as examples of quadrilaterals. Next, we will draw an example of a quadrilateral that is not a rhombus, rectangle, square, or trapezoid. Today, in order to do these skills, we really need to make sure we all understand the vocabulary that goes with this standard. We're going to be learning what a parallelogram is, rhombus, rectangles, trapezoid, and more.
Okay, so today you are focusing specifically on those 4 types of quadrilaterals: squares, rectangles, rhombuses, and parallelograms, or in trapezoids. Okay, that's what we're going to look at. Let's hop to slide 2. Let's quickly review. Remember, quad equals 4. Lateral equals line or sides. So quadrilaterals are, please fill it in with me. Quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. Quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. I'm going to ask you that almost every day. Hey, what's a quadrilateral? And that's what I want to hear you say. They are shapes with 4 sides. Quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. Yes, Steve.
I actually have a square, a quadrilateral with me in my room. Want me to show you?
Yes. You do. The flat face, one side of that cube is a quadrilateral. That cube is made up of many quadrilaterals. Nice, Steve.
My flat cube is my quadrilateral.
That's a great connection. Yes, Levin.
I know something I have something that's a quadrilateral.
What do you have?
I can't say the right word.
It's a tough word. As we are seeing examples of the textbook, the cover, yes, is a quadrilateral. I am noticing that there are still a few blank screens Go ahead and fill in this sentence, okay? Jalen, add in these words on your slide. If I'm writing it, you are writing it. If I'm typing it, you are typing it. Morrow, not what we're doing, sir. All right. Yes, Aiden G.
Did you know your computer is a quadrilateral because it's a square?
Your computer screen, yes, does appear as a quadrilateral, either a rectangle or square. Very good. All right, now we're going to get ready to look at some specific examples of quadrilaterals, okay? Take a look at slide 4. Slide 4 says, take notes with your teacher. We call these defining attributes. This word defining is familiar to you because it comes from the word definition. And we know that definition tells us what something means. So these posters are going to show you attributes, which are kind of like character traits or physical traits. They're what makes the shape itself, okay? So we're going to switch cameras and we're going to take notes on our quadrilaterals today. So I would like you please to title your notes Quadrilaterals. I'm going to get some practice. And again, you have it right on the screen in front of you on Seesaw. You also have the word on my camera for your notes. Quadrilaterals. That's a long word. I'll give you a moment to record that. And again, if you can't see it or you'd prefer to see it better on Seesaw, it is right there on Seesaw for you too. Okay. Quadrilaterals, and you guys already know this definition. I've told you that we're going to memorize it, and here we go writing it for the second time today. Quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. Quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. Okay. Shapes with 4 sides. Now, we define quadrilaterals using their sides and their angles, okay? Sides and their angles. Go ahead and hop over here. On slide 5, we see an example of a quadrilateral called a rhombus. This rhombus is a quadrilateral that has 4 equal sides and 2 pairs of parallel sides. That is why a square is a rhombus. It has 4 equal sides and 2 of the sides are parallel. So this rhombus has 4 congruent sides and 2 pairs of parallel sides. Can a square be a rhombus? Yep, we've already talked about that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create my notes by writing the name of the shape, drawing the shape, and writing the definition, okay? So I'm actually going to make myself a chart here, and I'd ask you to do the same. I'm going to trace one of the lines pretty thick all the way across my notebook. This is just like when we drew and wrote the names of point, line, and segment. We're going to do the same thing for these quadrilaterals, okay? I'm going to make the first column a smaller column because I just have to write one word, and that's the name of the shape. So that's not going to take a lot of space. That middle column is also going to be pretty small because it's just going to be a picture And then that last column is going to be the largest space on my notebook. So see, this last column is much bigger, and that's because that's going to be the attributes. Okay. So my column looks kind of like this, all right? At the top, I'm going to put what I'm going to write in each section. This is the name. This is the picture. And finally, we have the attributes. Attributes is a vocabulary word that I want to hear you using. And again, you can think of attributes as you would think of traits. Attributes are properties or things that are true about a certain item, in this case, shapes. Okay, so they are attributes. This is a lot like traits. Okay. The first one that we just studied is a rhombus. So let's write down that word rhombus. I'm going to make my words take up 2 lines. Rhombus. Okay. Actually, I wanted to do that in a different color. A rhombus. And again, if you can't see my notebook, I've told you guys this a few times. It is on slide 5 right here. Rhombus. So you can see it on your notebook as well. Okay, or on your seesaw. So a rhombus, let's draw a picture of a rhombus. A lot of you guys call rhombuses diamonds. So you're gonna draw a picture of a diamond. It does not matter which direction your diamond turns. So mine is facing this way. If you drew your picture this way, that's fine. If you drew it this way, that's fine. It just looks similar to a diamond, so it's a rhombus, okay? A rhombus has 2 attributes that are important, okay? The 2 attributes are that it has 4 equal sides. 4 equal sides. It also has 2 pairs of parallel sides. And remember that word pair is just like it would be in any other time you would talk about a pair. A pair of glasses has 2 eye lenses. A pair of jeans has 2 leg holes. A pair of skates has 2 skates. So pair equals 2, a set of 2 that go together, okay? Yes, Levin.
Kind of like a pair of legs, kind of like a pair of socks, a pair of
Yep, a pair of socks, 2 things that cover your feet. There are 2 things. So the pair itself is 1, it's 1 set, but it has 2 items in it. Same thing here, it is 1 set of lines, but there are 2 parts of them. Yes, William.
Mr. Nelson taught us to draw a cube like that, so starting with the rhombus.
Interesting. All right. Okay, so rhombus. I am going to move on to seesaw slide 6. So again, if you need to see more closely, here it is. A square is a quadrilateral that has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. A rhombus does not have to have right angles. That's an acute little angle. That's an obtuse angle. But a square has to have 4 right angles. That means they are going to form a square in each of the corners at each of the points. Okay? So again, slide 6 is where I am if you need to see it. So now we're going to move on to a square. I'm going to draw a line to separate my rhombus from my square. That way I don't get those attributes confused. So now we're moving on to a square. Okay, go ahead and draw yourself a picture of a square. Remember, a square has 4 equal sides. So you're going to do your best to get the sides as even, as equal, as same size, as congruent as possible. Inside of your square in one of the corners, I want you to put another tiny square. That represents a right angle. Okay. For my first attribute, I'm actually going to draw an arrow to that right angle so that I know what it is. It has 4 right angles. Right angles can be found in pretty much any construction of a room. Where the wall meets the ceiling is a right angle. If it was not a right angle, the wall would fall down or the roof would get shorter. The floor and where the wall meet are often right angles. If they weren't, the walls would fall down and the floor would be at a diagonal. So right angles are kind of that perfect straightness. Okay? So squares have 4 right angles. Squares also have 4 equal sides. Those are the 2 attributes. Remember, attributes are kind of like character traits. They're what make it a square. So squares have 4 right angles and 4 equal sides. So yes, a square can be a rhombus, but a rhombus might not be a square. For example, the rhombus that I drew does not have right angles. Those are diagonals. Okay, so this would not be a square. But a square does have 4 equal sides and 2 pairs of parallel sides, so a square is a rhombus. Okay, we've got 2 more to record. Ooh, 3 more, sorry. So now we're going to do rectangle, and again, that is slide 7 of Seesaw. A rectangle has 2 pairs of parallel sides that are equal and 4 right angles. Okay? A rectangle has 2 pairs of parallel sides that are equal and 4 right angles. So let's write that down. We're going to write the word rectangle. Okay, a rectangle. We're going to draw a picture of a rectangle. Remember, a rectangle or any other shape can still be itself even when it's turned on its side. So just so I remember that, I'm actually going to draw my rectangle on its side. A lot of kids will see this and say, oh, that's a rhombus. Nope, it's not. Just because it looks to be turned the same way as a rhombus, or as you guys call it, a diamond, does not mean that it is, okay? A rectangle is still a rectangle no matter which way you turn it. Justin, you writing this down, baby? Okay. Also in a rectangle, there is a right angle. I want you to put that little square in that corner to show that. There is a right angle in a rectangle. Okay. So again, I'm going to draw an arrow so that I know there are 4 right angles in a rectangle. So a rectangle has 4 right angles. Okay. This next attribute is a bit longer. A rectangle has 2 pairs of parallel sides that are equal. Okay, so what that means is I have 2 long sides that are equal. I have 2 short sides that are equal. They do not have to be longer or shorter. For example, a rectangle is a square because a square has 4 right angles, so does a rectangle. And a square has 4 equal sides. So a rectangle or a square can be a, is that right? A square can be a rectangle. Square can be, yes, a square can be a rectangle, okay? So a rectangle has 4 right angles and 2 pairs of parallel sides that are equal. So a rectangle can be a square. Just like, again, think about your family name. I'm a Sousa, so is Axel, so is Jeremiah. We're all different, but we all belong to the family of Sousa. Shapes can operate in the same way. We're going to take notes on one more today, and we'll save the other 2 for another day. Okay, one more today. The last one that we're going to take notes on is a trapezoid. Trapezoid. Okay, a trapezoid. Trapezoid appears on slide 8 of Seesaw. A trapezoid has 1 pair of parallel sides, just 1. If it has more than 1 pair, it is not a trapezoid, okay? So a trapezoid. Let's draw a picture of a trapezoid. Typically, trapezoids have a parallel pair of sides where one is longer than the other. So I'm going to start with a short end and a long end. And if you notice, Miss Bram is also drawing a trapezoid, and hers looks very different than mine. So remember, the pictures don't have to be the exact same all the time. I just drew a trapezoid. Miss Bram also drew a trapezoid. These are both trapezoid because they each have 1 pair of parallel sides. And remember, a pair is 2 things. So this and this are in my pair. They are never going to touch. They are parallel. that idea, Miss Bram, of highlighting. I'm stealing it. Parallel. Okay. Your notes should have 4 quadrilaterals now. We took notes on a rhombus. We took notes on a square. We took notes on a rectangle. And we took notes on a trapezoid. We will add notes on a parallelogram another day and on a kite another day. Okay. Now, I'm going to switch, and I'm switching because if you didn't get these notes, they're on Seesaw. They're right here. Okay. We're just helping our brains to remember, and we're putting them all in one place so that we can quickly see our answers. All right. Let me tell you something, kiddos. This right here, I just gave you a cheat sheet. I just gave you all the answers. These are your answers. Okay. So if you look at this notebook and use it, you've got an A+, because this is all the answers. Okay. If you don't look at the notebook, I don't know what to tell you. You didn't work very smart. You worked hard, not smart. Okay. What you are going to do is use your notes either from Seesaw here or from your notebook, and you are going to do what our goal said. Our goal for the day said that you are going to recognize rhombus, rectangle, squares, and quadrilaterals. You are going to draw examples of quadrilaterals that are not rhombuses, rectangles, squares, and trapezoids. Okay? Your work begins on slide 11. On each slide, you will see a box of directions. The directions will tell you what to do, like this.
Put a heart on the quadrilaterals with 4 equal side lengths.
Okay, so I am going to take one of these hearts and find the quadrilaterals that have 4 equal side lengths. And you guys know how to do this. If your shape goes behind there, remember, just say move it to the top, order, bring to front, okay? This square has 4 equal side lengths. I just gave you an answer. Has 4 equal side lengths, so I have put a heart on it, okay? When I look at this shape right here, this shape does not have equal side lengths. That is way shorter than that side, so this shape does not get a heart, okay? Once you have placed a heart on all of the quadrilaterals with 4 equal sides, you're going to come up with the name. I just gave it to you, so let's do this one together. If a shape has 4 equal side lengths, one option is a square. Look at your notes. Look at square. 4 equal side lengths. Oh, snap. Look at rhombus. 4 equal sides. So we should probably put rhombus here too. Okay. So when there are 4 equal sides, look, I told you I gave you the answers. You didn't believe me. 4 equal sides, rhombus. 4 equal sides, square. Rhombus, square. Okay, answers are right there for you, kiddos. Okay, you're going to do that for each slide, 11, 12, 13, and 14. There is a rule or an attribute, and you're going to identify them by putting a heart on them and dragging their name. Questions on that? Okay. On slide 16, it says draw each quadrilateral in the correct category. So you're going to draw a square, you're going to draw a rhombus, you're going to draw a rectangle. you are going to draw a quadrilateral that is not a square, a rhombus, or a rectangle. What quadrilateral is not a square, not a rhombus, and not a rectangle? Oh, you've got the answers, kiddos. Okay. On slide 17, as always, use the mic to explain your success with today's skill. That is your work for today.